an outreach project in 2017. It seems like ages ago now. And that's when we actually recruited, I remember we recruited Bill and Roxanne to be part of the board during that outreach project. Because I remember meeting them in Frederick.
You locked us in the door. You locked us in the room and wouldn't let us out.
They have a different story, apparently. Okay. So we did this outreach project in 2017. We had a conference in Easton in 2017. Last time we were on the Eastern Shore. And Bill is now the vice president, and Bill took that outreach project and his own experience, extensive experience, and was the primary author of our strategic plan, or the MPCA strategic plan that came out in 2018. It's still the active strategic plan for the organization. Maybe we want to think about updating it at some point, but it's still done us very well. Well, one of the things that came out of that strategic plan and that outreach project was celebrating the work of citizen planners. And I'd like to think that this whole conference is dedicated to that vision, that idea. But we've also kind of taken it up to another level, and I think it was since the 2019, I think the 2019 conference, which we first started doing these citizen planner recognitions. And it's turned into one of the most enjoyable parts of each conference, and we really appreciate it. And I know we sent out messages requesting nominations, and we got a lot of them in, and we're very happy to recognize them tonight. So as I've told multiple people, this is not like the Oscars or anything. I mean, this is not. I don't have this. This is not going to be like down to a T. We'll get through it. I hope, but and so don't expect something super smooth. But we do have a lot of excellent citizen planners here, and people that are here to talk about why they nominated them and why they deserve recognition. And this definition of citizen planner, when it comes to these nominations, is a broad one. It's not just your appointed planning commissioners and board of zoning appeals members, which obviously they all deserve accord and recognition, and that's why this conference is happening. But this also is broader than that, include those citizens that might not be appointed to a board, but are also very active in planning in their community. They impact and affect change by being active. They may convince appointed people to do something that's best for the community because they live in that community. And so this is the broadest definition you can think of of citizen planners. We're here to celebrate them. So I'm here to try to MC this. We'll see how it works. I know you probably heard enough of me this past few days. The first one is going to be a video, so I appreciate George and their team for everything that they've done to help today go as smoothly as it has. So I'm going to try to get this hooked up and get this video going, and we'll take it from there. All right? So, but keep eating, keep enjoying your food. Oh, and I'll say we're recognizing a lot of groups and individuals tonight. This is no particular order, I promise you. I tried to alternate groups and individuals, but that's it. It's the closest thing to an order there is.
The city of Frederick has seen tremendous growth over the last 30 years. This growth has most recently occurred by annexation and greenfield developments. During the same time, good planning has moved towards more responsible development, including infill and redevelopment, and dare I say, smart growth. The city of Frederick has a wonderful historic district that has seen many changes, but has remained a prime example of how preservation can promote infill, housing, and economic development. The city of Frederick also has a large blue-collar industrial corridor, complete with a rail line running down the middle of the street, right next to our beautiful historic district. Alan Feinberg has advocated for the potential of this area since I started with the city. He has stood strong and at times stood alone on promoting the dream and the vision for the corridor. During that time, he created and coined the name East Frederick Rising for this important industrial corridor. He has relentlessly advocated for an area of town that had little to no representation because he knew and saw the potential of this corridor. Single-handed at times, he carried the message of why this area is so important to the city and the tremendous opportunity it contained. He created the nonprofit East Frederick Rising, recruiting board members who shared his dream. When East Frederick Rising folded, he recreated it again and recruited new board members To carry the dream forward, as a nonprofit, Allen and East Frederick Rising has the ability to work outside the city's organizational structure in promoting this area. East Frederick Rising was consistent in their messaging and throughout his and their efforts convinced the city to explore a form-based code for this area of the city. Now, 20 years later, the city has hired a consultant and will be moving forward with its first form-based code. Allen has promoted and attended every form-based code meeting, providing valuable input and helping others to dream about the potential. This area has the potential for new neighborhoods, commercial, and employment opportunities adjacent to a strong and vibrant downtown. This area is intended not to compete with downtown, but to enhance and complement the downtown by providing a variety of housing and employment options. The City of Frederick has heard the message and has started to invest in this sometimes forgotten corridor. The City of Frederick has developed plans on redesigning the corridor to make it more pedestrian-friendly, complete with bike lanes. Monoxie Boulevard improvements are being built, providing an important connection on the east side. The Carroll Creek Linear Park is nearing completion that will provide a shared use path that will connect the Golden Mile, downtown Frederick, and East Frederick Rising along the Carroll Creek. Allen has always seen the potential, and through time and effort, he has opened our eyes so we too could see the power of his vision. That is why I believe he is worthy of this award tonight. Great job, Allen, and well done.
Congratulations, Allen, on receiving this award. When it comes to citizen planning, I can't think of a more worthy advocate. You are a tireless advocate for the City of Frederick and the principles of good planning, and we appreciate everything that you've done over many years to support the work that we're trying to do in the City of Frederick. Thank you, Allen. Congratulations.
I know how passionate Allen is. He's with APA Maryland, with the Mid-Atlantic Planning Collaboration. And he doesn't just call me, he calls my boss, Chuck Boyd, who has a long history in Frederick. And I couldn't think of anybody else more worthy of recognition by the MPCA for all the work he's done throughout his career and will continue to do. And I'm very happy to recognize you, Alan. I mean, the MPCA, and I know Joe Atkins most of all. So I need the MPCA board to come up for pictures.
All I can say is I'm absolutely amazed, and this has totally screwed up my attitude about these people that just gave me.
Started. Next, I'd like to invite Stephanie Spector. Where's Stephanie?
Thanks, Joe. To one of our planning commissioners' dismay, we do not have a video. I'm sorry you get me. But I'd like to really take this opportunity to acknowledge the hard work of our planning commissioners. The city's comprehensive plan update began in October of 2021, and we worked with consultants Wallace Montgomery on the update. The consultants from the start stated that their role was really to be the scribe, but the plan itself was that the planning commissioners, and it would be a collaborative effort. The Planning Commission dove into the work immediately. They completed homework assignments, completed a SWOT analysis, and community survey. All of the planning commissioners attended and fully participated in at least one of 3 public visioning workshops that provided an opportunity for input from residents and stakeholders. The planning commissioners absorbed that public input and used their feedback to craft a vision statement with the consultants and city staff. The vision statement, which is the City of Aberdeen is a destination to work, live, learn, and play with an actively engaged community, diverse neighborhoods, thriving businesses, economic opportunities, it's a long one, sorry, transportation options, and a sustainable future, is a theme that is incorporated throughout the comprehensive plan. After 16 months of participating in surveys, public meetings, reviewing drafts, providing input and guidance on the future growth of Aberdeen, the plan was adopted through a resolution on February 22nd, 2023, which the Planning Commission recommended for approval to be adopted by the Aberdeen City Council. The Planning Commission attended and spoke at the City Council meetings to express their support of the Comprehensive Plan adoption, and City Council officially adopted the 2022 Comprehensive Plan, which is Plan Aberdeen, on April 10th, 2023. On behalf of the City of Aberdeen, thank you to the Aberdeen Planning Commission for your tremendous commitment and dedication to public service, and thank you to the MPCA for recognizing the hard work of our planning commissioners.
Who's here? Who's here? You gotta say the names.
Mike Hyde. Do you want me to say?
Yeah, you know how to pronounce them.
All right, planning commissioners, if you can please come up here. Michael Hyde and Mark Schlotman, and also our planning assistant, Sydney Triunfo.
My name is Mark Slotman, and I'm fortunate enough to chair the City of Aberdeen Planning Commission. With me this evening is Michael Hyde, who is the assistant chair of the Planning Commission. I accept these awards on behalf of the board of the City of Aberdeen. That includes not only Michael Hyde, but Terry Preston, Dominique Gillis, Deontay Printup, and Samuel Poston. And those individuals are all independent thinkers. They do their homework. They visit the sites. They ask intelligent questions to the builders, to the developers, to the attorneys, to each other. I'm very proud to chair the board with these fine individuals. That said, I would also be remiss if I did not recognize the Director of Community Development, Planning and Community Development for the City of Aberdeen, Phyllis Grover, who can't be here this evening. But I do have her two people that work for her and with her this evening. And I'd like to introduce, if you haven't already, of course, but I would like to formally introduce Stephanie Spector, who is the senior planner, and Sydney Triofano, who is the assistant planner. These two individuals work very, very closely with Phyllis and really do the heavy lifting. This is our comprehensive plan that was approved in April, and it took us about 18 months with the help of Stephanie and Sydney, and of course Phyllis. And we also contracted with Wallace Montgomery, as some of you may know. So I also want to thank them publicly for their help. But these two individuals behind me really did the heavy lifting. They gathered the data. They spent countless hours on the telephone, on emails, meeting with Wallace Montgomery, back and forth with us, but really behind the scenes with Phyllis, Stephanie and Sydney, and Wallace Montgomery. So I want to personally thank you, and also on behalf of the board, for all your hard work, and I mean that sincerely. And I would also be remiss if I didn't thank the citizens of Aberdeen and the stakeholders of Aberdeen for their input. As Stephanie said, we had 3 workshops that the public was invited to. Of course, we had public comment at the city council meetings and also at the planning commission board meetings. And we took those ideas and suggestions to heart, not only from the citizens, but from the stakeholders in the city of Aberdeen. We had good participation on that. So at the end of the day, well, let me go back. About 10 years, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, we had, I was involved in the 2000 comprehensive plan, and it took us about 2.5 years because the board ourselves did it with Phyllis's department. This year, of course, we contracted with Wallace Montgomery, but it still took us about 18 months. But we did get it done. It's been vetted and everything, and our recommendation to the mayor and council was to accept it, and they did. But I really have to thank the board for their work, Stephanie, Sydney, and Phyllis for their work, and the citizens and stakeholders for their hard work, and of course Wallace Montgomery for their guidance and their hard work. So thank you all. I accept this on behalf of the board of the City of Aberdeen for the Planning Commission, and I thank you all. I truly do. Thank you.
Hey, don't go anywhere. Picture. This is yours. Any pictures?
I'd like to thank all of you for recognizing volunteer citizen planners. They're very important to our community, and you will hear from one tonight in just a few minutes. I nominated Dan Wilhelm from Colesville, Maryland for the State of Maryland Citizen Planner Award for his many years of volunteer service to Montgomery County and the greater Colesville area. He has been a citizen planner for over 40 years, delving into the details for transportation, land use, environment, and education, all to ensure better living for all of us living in and around Colesville. He is the president of the Greater Colesville Citizen Association, secretary for the East County Citizen Advisory Board, and secretary of the LabQuest Exec Committee. Also in the past, he was the president of Montgomery County Civic Federation and Committee for Montgomery, to name a few of the organizations where Dan represents our community. He is our voice to all of you in planning commissions that have anything to do with our area, either at the state level or the local level. May I introduce you to Dan Wilhelm.
Thank you very much. I sure appreciate this honor. I've been involved, like Marguerite said, 45 years. Started with notice on my mailbox. We want to find out about a master plan, come to a meeting, and lo and behold, one thing led to another, and still doing it. And right now, I've been involved with 3 rounds of master plans for our area, starting in 81, 97, and 2014. So it's a lot of history there. Now I'm focusing more, still on some plans for the county, but it's more eastern part of the county, trying to get things implemented. There's things about ready to pop. The eastern part of the county's been ignored for probably 3 or 4 decades, and things are starting to happen. Lots of development, public transportation, and the Montgomery College is looking to put a campus on the eastern part of the county. So a lot happening. Nothing's been announced yet, but it's, knock on wood, it's coming soon. So anyway, thank you.
Cool. All right. So I know you've heard a lot about our comprehensive plan and our planning commission here in Queen Anne's County, and we took you on a tour of the highlights. But we also want to honor our planning commission, and we want to honor our planning commission chairwoman, Sharon Dobson, for all of their hard work. And Stephanie Jones is our principal long-range planner and managed our comprehensive plan update. And she and I collectively put forward this nomination, and I'd like her to say a few words about the comprehensive planning process and the challenges that our planning commission overcame to make that plan so successful.
Good evening. I really would like to thank the Planning Commission. It was a 18-month process for us just at the Planning Commission stage. They came to every meeting. At the end, we would have a work session devoted to the comp plan. We started pretty much during COVID, so that was a task in itself, but the Planning Commission was determined to get that accomplished and to get it done. They had to deal with some overarching hot topics, like was mentioned earlier, the sewer capacity, and also other topics that have come up since then. But they were very dedicated to the process, and I'm very thankful that they were dedicated to it. So thank you.
No, I have a few more comments to make, and I promise to wrap it up because our Planning Commission chair likes efficiency. So, and to that end, I want to share some of the steps that she guided our Planning Commission and supported staff to create greater efficiencies to our review processes. So over time, Sharon Dobson has assisted staff to streamline a lot of reviews. She's given staff some flexibility in terms of looking at some minor site plans that in the past had always gone before the Planning Commission, where there were projects in the view shed of our most a small vendor was putting forward a site plan to sell snow cones, that had to go on the Planning Commission agenda because of a standing policy. And we like to run a tight ship, and we also like to support the development community and not have onerous steps that they have to take and not go through extra processes. And so that was very important. So that was one thing that we did. There had been processes where projects would have to come back to get extensions, and we looked at the code and said, you know, we don't really think they need to come back so frequently. We think they're covered. So that creates greater efficiency because developers have to pay full staffs to come and represent their projects, and if we can save our community extra time and extra dollars, we want to do that. There are a number of other things that we have streamlined, and we're continuing to do it, and setting policies that make our service to our citizens much more streamlined, much more user-friendly, citizen-friendly, business-friendly, because that is a part of the role of our Planning Commission, is to make sure that we're following all of the rules, all of the codes, but also reminding everyone that we're supporting the community. We're citizen planners and we're civil servants who are here to help. And this Planning Commission collectively, and I'm so happy that almost all of them are here tonight, is led by Sharon and dedicated to that service. And we appreciate it very much and enjoy working with them.
Good evening. I'm Jenny Plummer-Welker, retired planner from Calvert County after 29 years, and I'm joined by our chair.
Hi, Maria Bueller.
And we'd like to recognize Steve Jones, former planning commissioner and former planning chair. Steve was appointed as an alternate member in 2017 and then appointed as a full member in 2018. Vice chair, not long after that, he was appointed vice chair in January 2019 and served just a short amount as vice chair before being promoted and selected and elected as chair. And served as chair from June 2020. So if you recall, COVID happening a little bit before June 2020, and then continue to serve as chair through May 2022. So come on up. So you're nervous. So Steve and I were able to, I'd like to recognize Steve for his guidance and leadership especially during COVID. The Planning Commission gave staff the go-ahead to continue our public outreach. We were in the middle of updating our Calvert County Comprehensive Plan. So Chairman Jones and I would be in the county courthouse. There'd only be 6 people in the whole courthouse, and we'd be broadcasting live to about 100 people who had joined to participate in our comprehensive plan updates. So he led the Planning Commission and staff through the approval of the comprehensive plan in 2019, and then the county commissioners asked for some amendments in 2022. But also, Steve worked on 2 land preservation, parks, and recreation plans, and numerous text amendments. I'd like to recognize him also with his long experience and professional job as in the police force. Yeah. Has very much community outreach. He knows the community through that work in the county, and his collaboration with staff, the management, and then also the other planning commissioners. So congratulations.
Thank you. Maria, you had a 5-minute speech you wanted to give? No.
It's all yours.
All right. So, look, we did a lot. I just want to say thank you to staff and to Mayor Blake Wallace. Thank you so much. Jenny is not here, but thank you. Listen, COVID was crazy, and we got through it. But I also want to thank staff, the IT, the people that clean the floors, everyone that helped us every single day. I think the biggest accomplishment that I had was I have a gentleman over here, Greg Kernan. Raise your hand. He is the vice chair now. Greg gave me some mentorship, to become the vice chair and the chair, and I thank you for that. And with that, I asked Maria if she'd be interested, and she is now the chair of Calvert County Planning Commission. I look forward to watching her success and watching her move Calvert County in the right direction. Thank you, Maria, and thank you all. It means a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome, Steve. And I wanted to share one, so in 2021, we did a virtual conference in 2020 because that's what everybody did in 2020, right? If you did a conference. So in 2021, we thought we were going to do another in-person one. And we were going to do it in Solomon's. And I don't know how many meetings the MPCA had with Steve preparing for that meeting. Steve had everything down to a T organized for a great conference in 2021 in Solomon's, but then the Delta strain hit, and we decided not to have an in-person conference, and I think that was probably the right choice. But I would say from the MPCA's level of appreciation, how much work Steve put into that conference that didn't happen, but we still recognize all the work. Did you want to say?
I just want to say I have to be completely transparent. My fiance Sue did all that work, but I just wanted to clear that up.
All right, somebody make a certificate real quick. All right.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Donnell Nance, and I am a very long-time resident of Union Square, the Union Square neighborhood, even though I'm only 26 for 10 years. 10 years strong. I'm also the chair of the Vibrant Walkable Streets Committee with the Southwest Partnership. And it is my pleasure to introduce you to the Friends of Union Square. And it's also been a pleasure to have been a part of the Union Square group that nominated these fine folks that are sitting over here for their hard work on the plan to restore and upgrade the historic Union Square Park, securing $750,000. That's a big deal. That's really good money right there, right? That's what I thought. So far, so good. So they've secured $750,000 in funding toward the project. The Friends of Union Square work closely with the Union Square Association, Baltimore City Recs and Parks, city and state elected officials, city and state historic preservation groups, and private contractors and architects to develop a plan to restore and save the historic structures in the Union Square Park and to upgrade the underground systems. That's another big deal, especially when you're built over top of natural springs in the city, right? And save the historic structures of the park. Modernize the comfort stations, facilities to comply with ADA regulations, expand park lighting, and repair sidewalks and flower beds. Those flower beds that's a big deal. We gotta, pollinate all those good plants out there, right? All right. The effort was led by the Friends of Union Square Chair, Fran Rawl. Hi, Fran. With the assistance of board members Patricia Hogan, Thomas Hams, hey Thomas, Kevin Norris, represented by his wife Savannah Burgess, Debbie Raw, and Biff Browning. So with that said, I'm going to stop with my bad jokes and bring up these fine people.
My wife and I moved into the Union Square neighborhood about 43 years ago. And it was on a downslide. We had a new association that had been formed out of a reaction to the demolition of a historic structure in the neighborhood. And we were not yet a historic preservation district. Union Square Association, which is now chaired by Biff Browning, actually was formed then as a result of that. And a few years later, Friends of Union Square was formed just specifically to focus on the health of the park and the renovation of it, the salvation of it. And so we got started on that. So we formed the Friends Group as a nonprofit, and we got started to build relationships with the people who knew how to do things. And so we had a kind of a new infrastructure coming up within our neighborhood of knowledge and people. Over the years, we've been joined by a lot of new blood since then. And while I was instrumental in starting it, in a minor way actually, the new people, a widely diverse bunch of people, active, energetic people with insights into these things and connections with developers and with planners and with fundraisers. And so we're making great strides now. You heard about that big $750,000 grant. We have other grants on the way because we have a problem. The demolition of that historic structure got replaced in 1967 by the construction of a school building, which was recently closed against our best wishes. And now we're trying to capture and do something with, because we'd rather do it than have the city do it. And so this stuff is underway. And I hope that next time we see you, we're going to come back for another award after we get this. Once we get the school situation straightened out, we capture it. Because we have people interesting people with connections, with deep pockets, who are willing to come in there and make something out of it that will serve our community, our diverse needs in our community. So hope to see you again sometime. I'm very appreciative of getting this award here, and congratulations to all of you.
So we have one left, and I know I said that these were in no particular order, but in my opinion, and at least the one that's closest to me, I wanted to save the best for last. Again, the one that's closest to me for last. I know the MPCA has been made stronger ever since I've been there because of this individual's work on the board and dedication, and I would say even more so than that, the city of Hagerstown has been made stronger because of this individual's 36 years. I keep on getting the number slightly wrong. 36 years on the Planning Commission of Hagerstown. Anybody, I know we got a bunch of planning commissioners in this room. Anybody got a tenure longer than 36? Everybody's recoiling in horror, I think, when they hear that number. And for many years served as the chair. I can't remember how many comprehensive plans. Four comprehensive plans.
We're here tonight to wish and thank Treasurer Doug Wright for his 35 years of service to the town of Hagerstown in the Planning Commission. You have anything you want to say?
It's been my pleasure to be a planning commissioner for going on 12 years now, and the last 5 or so with the MPCA board. Roxanne and I were extended an invitation to visit the board, and once we got there, Danny Winborn said, "Someone lock the door. You can't leave until you're willing to become a board member yourselves." But one of the pleasures of being on that board was to work side by side with this gentleman, okay, and to see his dedication, his consistency, the degree of responsibility that he willingly took on. He's been a model for, gosh, every treasurer that I've ever had an experience in working with, but I measure all of those individuals with this fellow because he does it extremely, extremely well.
So one of the things about Doug is that he was born in Hagerstown, so he's a lifelong resident of Hagerstown. So he started serving on the Hagerstown Planning Commission in 1988, and he then became the chairperson in 1990. So, as we said, he's helped to develop 4 comprehensive master plans. Listen, I struggled doing one. So, 1988, 1997, 2008, and 2018 were the master plans that he helped develop. He's really humble about his accomplishments, but he's still proud of, there's other groups of individuals in the town of Hagerstown that have recognized him for his help with them in developing the planning. And he's more proud, I think, of that than he is of the different, his length of time on the Planning Commission. There's one quote that Doug has, he said a lot, and he goes, well, maybe I did make a small difference. But one thing I noticed when we had the workshop in Hagerstown, Doug's like E.F. Hutton. So when Doug Wright talks, everybody listens. The entire Hagerstown Planning Commission, Doug starts talking and they start running. They do anything that he needs them to do. So that's a sign of respect. And that's just awesome. So, like we said, in addition to his work as Planning Commission, he has served with us on the MPCA board for, I don't know, 7 years maybe? And the last maybe 4 years, he was the treasurer. So if Joe, would you? Yes. Doug, would you like to come up here, please? That's all right.
That's all right. That's all right.
So please join us in celebrating Doug's many accomplishments over his illustrious career, and thank you for your passion and your commitment to the city of Hagerstown and to the MPCA board. And we're going to miss you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
There you go.
I'm going to get on the other side.
Not his place, but stepping into his shoes.
Good.
Okay.
Well, I'm certainly not prepared for this, but I'm not going to let this opportunity go by. This is a fabulous group of people, a fabulous mission, a fabulous organization, and I applaud everybody who works in their community every day to build their community, to lead their community. And this right here is the cream of the crop. So it's been a pleasure working with you all. I wish I had another 10 years to do it some more, but I thank you all very much. And I ask that you all continue in your communities to serve your communities in the planning area and every place else. Thank you.
So that round of applause is for everybody in this room. I think Doug put it well, saying the cream of the crop.